We're back. We're back in the shed. Thank you to everybody who watched the last video and commented on it and liked it and done all of that. And also welcome to all the new subscribers. Got a whole lot of Toyota fans on board now, which is good because we've got two Toyotas, the Caldina and the Avensis projects coming up. So in this episode, it is the brake proportional valve or equalizer valve, if you like to call it, in the Caldina. You seen in the last episode, went to the Avensis. It was simple to get out in the Avensis. We had loads of room, but with the Caldina being a 2-litre turbo diesel, the turbo is in the way. Let me just show you. So here's what I'm looking at. The turbo, and it looks like the downpipe. Yeah, it's quite in the way. So that's definitely never going to zoom. Yeah. There it is. There's the culprit. So my mission this evening is to try and get that out. I'm going to try and video this and try and show you what I'm dealing with here. So this, which is good. So of course I've tried this before I start recording, but this is basically all the turn that I have. So you can imagine how painful this is going to be. I can't get it on this way and I can't get it on this way. So it's going to be a pretty slow process in removing this. So if you haven't seen the last episode, this is basically what I'm replacing. I got from the Avensis, and this is an Asian one, so I think this was an aftermarket one. I have heard from lads that Asian supplied these. Now the only thing I am kind of worried about is the brake flare. So if the one I take out here has the same flare as what this has, if it doesn't, then it means obviously I'd have to change all my brake flares. But somebody did say in the comments, oh, but it's not too bad, it's handy enough to change the brake flares. Not in there, definitely not in there. So I'm really hoping that the flares are the same on the ends of the pipes compared to the Toyota, which is a non-Jap one, originally European model, we'll say. But yeah, I don't even think I'm going to put this in time lapse. I really don't think there's no time lapse in existence going to record the time that's going to take me to get that thing out of there. So it's going to involve patience and stuff like that. So it is late on in the evening. I finished my jobs in the shed for this evening, so I'm going to spend a little bit of while at this, and then I'm going to pick it back up in the morning. And also when we pick this back up, I want to get this done in this episode, and I also have a gearbox to take out of an Avensis as well. One of the subscribers, which is brilliant, messaged me, stuck for a gearbox for an Avensis, and I have one. So it's good to be able to help out subscribers and help people build their Toyotas as well. So someday some of you guys will be able to help me, which you have in the previous episode with all your comments about the brake equalizer. But yeah, I'm just going to tear into this. I might do a little bit of a time lapse just to kind of show you, but you won't even see what I'm doing. And then take a gearbox out tomorrow. So that's basically this episode. Let's get to work. Well, brake fluid isn't just good for the hands now. Oh, when you're in a tight spot like that, comment below, let me know, but you just can't wear gloves. What a pain in the ass to get at that. Just let me show you. So I have taken it out there now. I've just got rags there because there's a lot of brake fluid dropping there. But yeah, it was all down to one brake line, so I had to just gently bend the brake line a wee bit to get this down, and I held it with the vice grips and I got cracking it then. The last one wouldn't loosen for me. The bulkhead was flexing as I was trying to loosen it in a tight area, as you may see. But anyway, we got it off. Also, buy some Largo Thrifted merchandise. I'll give you this. Very handy little tool. My parts man in work warned me about the different flares, and I hate to say it, but he was right. So there's two different flares. Can we hit the light? Yeah. So there are two different flares. So this one is not going to work. Either that or I change all the brake pipes to suit this one. And then no real guarantee if this one is working right. So I don't know if I'm going to see, can I get some part numbers off this or something? But yeah, dread it. Yeah, quite annoyed over that. We have a lot of brake fluid dripping here still. So probably just the reservoir, I'd say, emptying out. There's a lot of brake fluid there now. Yeah, what a disaster. I don't know what you call them. Is it like OP1 and OP2, isn't it? So is that an OP1, an OP2? I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. I can just about see X3 here on that one, and on this one I can see 7W, 27, 7W, and that looks like 11 X3, so there's not really much numbers to go off. Yeah, if you've had this Archer before or you've run into this same problem, did you go ahead and make all new brake lines, or did you just go and try and find the right part to save making all new brake lines? Do let me know. I need to get something to put under this because I don't want that fluid dripping on my floor. So that is a beeping pain in the ass. Yeah. I did hear of something else that could be done in terms of drilling out this proportionate valve, but would get me through an NCT, but don't think you're going to chance it because you will have equal pressures to all corners of the car. So they're put in there for a reason. Whatever it is, 70-30 or 60-40 or whatever way it's set up to send pressure front and rear. But if I was really stuck, I could drill that out and let the pressure down to the rear. I don't know much about them. If I knew which one was, we'll say, servicing the side that was down, we could operate on that side of the valve just to bring that pressure up on the right hand side. But that's, you're probably sitting at home going, you're mental, but maybe I am. But look, we'll try and do it as right as possible. But for now, I'm going to call it an evening. I'm going to have to go and do some research, some Googling, find out what way I'm going to tackle this. We'll come right back in the morning and we'll have to start taking out the gearbox out of the events outside because I'm at a little bit of a loose end here now. So it is the next morning. Sometimes when you're at jobs like this, it's always good just to go in and grab a shower, grab something to eat and go to bed and come back out the next morning with a fresh head. What am I going to do with this? I do not know. I'm going to go out to the spare Avensis now and I'm going to cut one of the pipes off, one of the brake pipes, and check the flare on it because this is from the spare car. So I'm going to cut the pipe off it, check the flare on it and compare it to the flare on the Caldina, and if there's a difference then I'm going to have to come up with something or try and run new lines. Am I crazy in saying run a new lines everywhere? Let me know. But I can't really dwell too long on this, so we'll take out the gearbox out of the Avensis. It is 7 a.m. in the morning, it's really early. And I'm just going to get working on this. I'm going to pull out the SP toolbox. Big rubber casters, off terrain, savage. So I'm going to pull the SP toolbox out to the car outside, and I might just set up a quick time lapse. And petrol Avensis and gearboxes. Myself and my brother, we used to always have petrol Avensis and Caldina and the gearboxes. I was very good at them years ago. Probably 20 minutes, half an hour, you did have the box as good as out on the floor. So let me see if I can still do that now. But yeah, outside, toolbox outside, time lapse on, and let's get this gearbox out of this Avensis. So it has been some time since I took out one of these petrol boxes, but pretty simple. Battery and airbox and stuff out, and you're directly in at the gearbox. Gear linkages, a couple of 12s, a couple of 14s, a couple of 17s. Take out the drive shafts. Pretty simple process, but the only problem is lying on your back on the concrete. I definitely don't miss that. I spent years doing it, but yeah, I've got it nearly out now. So one of our subscribers is going to have that gearbox and get his Avensis back on the road. Also, that engine is a good engine. If anybody's looking for an engine for an Avensis, this one is basically ready to come out. That took me a little bit longer than what I did remember, but I tell you one thing, I don't miss working on my back on the ground. If you're a real OG of the channel, if you go back to like the start of my YouTube journey, you will see I started out in life in a shed on my back on cold concrete, and that there this morning just brought it all back. But yeah, smooth enough. A couple of tight rusty bolts and things like that, and dowels was tight in the box, so we had a bit of shaking and a bit of rattling to get the box out, but the box is out, and yeah, that's ready for one of our subscribers to come and collect that tomorrow or Monday. And if anybody else needs bits off this, I know there's a good starter on it. There's an alternator there, the shafts, and that engine has 200,000 miles on it, and somebody put a time belt on it at 179, so it'd be a good fit little engine that's really dry if somebody wants it. Yeah, give me €100 for it. Bring it with you. Right, I thought I'd have a better view at my pipes for the so if you can see the flare on that, so that is the flare on that pipe to suit the, we'll call it the European equalizer proportional valve. So that is the flare on that. So I need to go and check out the flare on the Caldina. We'll call it the Japanese flare, but yeah, we'll check that out and see. From these pipes, what I can see is there's two pipes going to the rear. There's another pipe, and it goes to, where does it go to? I'm just trying to find it here. It goes into the ABS pump, and then there's another one, obviously it's going into the ABS pump as well. Yeah, so it looks to be these two pipes here and here go to the proportional valve, and then you have front left here, front right here. Where is these going to? These are going to, oh yeah, so that's your, I understand it now. So front left, front right, and these are your feeds from your brake master. They're the feeds, and they're to the proportional valve. They're to the proportional valve, them to there, and then two into the valve, proportional valve, and then yeah, two back down. You can actually see it there, rear left and rear right. Okay, so you understand it now, and sure, that's part of it, figuring it out. And I think a lot of you enjoy that too, because if you ever do run into this problem, all you have to do is just come back and watch Niall Goes Drifting's video and find out what hardship he went through. So now that I understand that from the ABS pump to the brake proportional valve, I need to check the flares in the Caldina. So I moved the SP's toolbox back into the shed because I can feel drops of rain, and that's kind of the reason why I got up early to get this gearbox out, because I knew it was going to rain today. So job done. Get the SP toolbox back into the shed and see can we come up with something for the Caldina. Yeah, so Caldina, as you can see, there's different flares on the ends of the pipes to suit the proportional valves that come off the Caldina. So a European standard proportional valve is not going to work. So, done a bit of research last night, as I says earlier on. It's good to just go in and have a shower, get some tea, hit the bed, do a bit of research. But yeah, I'm looking at the valves and online. Some of them are crazy. If you want to pause the video, go and Google it. Something like crazy, 170 euros, 180 euros, some are 300 euros. And then you have some for like 40 euros. So it's hard to know which is the right one. Also, it doesn't tell you what flare suits that fitting or that proportional valve like. So I'd like to know, it's we'll call it the Japanese flare required. But looking at this one, if you look down through the two holes that go to the rear brakes, this is off the Avensis. The holes are wide open in it. If you look at the one in the Caldina, I don't know, I'll flip the camera. So the one from the Caldina, you can see that brass down there, each side. So that, your flow comes in here, which is wide opened, each side wide open. And you can see this here is restricted by whatever that brass little thing is. Compared to the one that came off the Avensis, is wide opened. This is wide open. So what I am going to do, and you're not going to like it in the comments, but I am going to drill this out. Drill out that to open up the flow to the rear brakes, just to get this through NCT, to get it passed, because I am running out of time on it. So I'm going to drill this out and see if this will work for us. Right, I'm going to go for it. I know if this is buggered, let's say, there's nothing to lose. So I seen the two caps on the end of it, and I was afraid they might be hard to get off, but actually they're very simple to get off. So now I have two like circlips in there, and I'm going to try and remove these valves, take them out, clean them up, see what's going on in there, and yeah, see if I can make this proportional valve live again. Okay, so I have one apart, and I tell you what, this is what sits inside your brake proportional valve. This one, it seems to be bent. Could this have been the problem as to why it was causing me a bad flow? So there's serious pressure under this. When I did get it out, it went all over the shed, but I managed to get everything back. So this was my first time taking this apart, so I'm going to clean all this out, and I'm going to put all this back together. That is a little bit bent, so I'm going to try and straighten that very carefully. Or does it need to be straightened? I'm just trying to see. I'm going to take that one apart and see if this is similar to this. Right, so I've stripped the two of these, and that one's definitely bent. Very, very bent. But it is very bent because I had to push it down that extra little bit to get the circlip out, to get these lads out. But very, very delicate things. And yeah, so I have removed them, and this is basically a straight through valve now, but that's going to be sending direct force right down to the back of the car. I'm going to put in and I'm going to try it. Before you even start the slate me, demonstration, trying it out, just seeing. We won't be going on any roads, anything like that, but I just want to try it out, bleed up all the brakes and see if we have good pressure down the back, and while I'm waiting to get one of these. So if you know where I'd get one, do let me know, but just going to try this first and see if it gets me my rear right brake back up. Okay, we got it back in, and we just need to bleed up brakes now, and I am on my own, and the brake, I have the booster for the brakes, for bleeding the brakes. I do have one there, but it doesn't suit the cap for the Caldina, so I am going to need somebody to give me a hand bleeding brakes. Fortunately, we're out of time for this episode, so I've got the valve back in. Hopefully on the next episode we'll bleed up the brakes and we'll see if we actually have brakes, and in the meantime I'm going to be looking for a new proportional valve. If you know where there is a proportional valve for a Japanese car, Carina, Corolla, I'd say probably the same, please do DM me or hit me up and below in the comments, because what I've done by removing the two valves out of the proportional valve takes the whole proportional valve out of it. So the way I have it now is it'll probably be full force hydraulics to all four corners, which is not ideal, but I really do need to get it intensity before it goes to a full test again. So it's just something I've got to do. If I'm totally wrong, I'll put my hands up and say, yeah, I'm totally wrong. But let me know in the comments, am I crazy? Should I just leave it on the lift, wait till I get the new valve and just go for a full test again? Or should I do what I'm doing and stay in the hunt for a valve? Dub Shed is next weekend, and I have entered the Caldina for outdoors. I was always a big indoor Dub Shed guy, but the Caldina is just not ready for indoors. But I kind of do want to get this car ready, get the works wheels back on it and drive the Dub Shed. So that's why this is all happening very, very quickly. So if I can, with the valve taken out of this, if the brakes test okay, I can get the car tested, get it back. Hopefully midweek, towards the end of the week, we'll get the new proportional valve, put that in, put the works wheels on, get the car cleaned up and hit Dub Shed for the first time in possibly 1-2 years since I've been there. But yeah, that is my plan. Do let me know in the comments. Thanks for all the love in the last video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.